Today we are going to be looking at special right triangles. There are two special right triangles that we're going to look at that have special patterns. The first one is a 45, 45, 90 special right triangle. If we think about all the stuff that we know about a triangle, we have a right angle. This is 45 and this is 45. That's making this an isosceles triangle because I have congruent base angles. If my base angles are congruent, then my sides are going to be congruent. So if we look at this, that's where that pattern comes from of S, S, and then the hypotenuse is going to be S root 2. So in every single 45, 45, 90 triangle, it's going to follow that pattern. The legs of the triangle are going to be the same, and the hypotenuse is going to be that number root 2. So when I look at my first example, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label my pattern. So if this is 45 and this is 90, that means that this has to be 45. The pattern tells me that my legs are the S's, and the hypotenuse, remember the hypotenuse is the side across from that 90-degree angle, is going to be S root 2. You will always be given one side of your triangle. So we look to see what we are given. We are given that S is equal to 9. Given S is the best piece of information we can have. From there, we're going to take that piece and plug it in. This side is S. Well, if this S is 9, this is the same side, also 9. And this is going to be S root 2. Well, if S is 9, then this is going to be 9 root 2. So X happened to be that hypotenuse, which is going to be that 9 root 2. Y was that missing leg, which is going to be just 9. Our second example here, we have our another 45, 45, 90 triangle. We start by labeling that pattern. Here's 45, here's 45. So this is the leg, this is the leg. The hypotenuse is S root 2. So we label our pattern, then we identify what piece we were given. I was given that the S root 2 piece of the puzzle is equal to 3 root 2. If I don't have S, so in the first one I was given S. If I'm not given S, the first thing I do is solve for S. So most of you can probably look at this and go, oh, S root 2 is equal to 3 root 2, therefore S is 3. Or you can solve. It's S times root 2, so we divide by root 2. Those cancel, leaving us with S is equal to 3. So since this side is S and this side is S, those sides are S's, and that means that X is 3 and Y is 3. So it all comes down to starting by labeling your pattern, identifying which piece of the pattern do you have, and then solving for your missing sides. Let's look at our second special right triangle. Oh, and that's not right. This is a 30, 60, 90 special rights triangle. We see that pattern down here. We know that all three angles in a triangle have to add up to 180. So if we have 90, 60, 30, those are all adding up to that 180. This one is going to have a different pattern. Across from the 30-degree angle is the L. It's important that you're just not picking a side that's L and the side that's L root 3 and the side that's 2L. You have to look across. So if you find the 30-degree angle, across from that 30-degree angle is the L. Across from 60 is L root 3. And across from the hypotenuse is going to be 2L. So when I look at my first one here, I see the 30. Across from the 30, this is L. I find 60 across from 60 is L root 3. Across from 90 is going to be 2L. So we look, remember, we're always given one piece. The piece that I'm given was L is 20, best case scenario. Just like above, it was best case scenario that we're given S. Here we want to be given L. Now all I have to do is plug into the pattern pieces. So if I go across from 60, this is L root 3. Well, if L is 20, that means that this is 20 root 3. This is 2 times L. If L is 20, 2 times 20 is 40. So we find X. X is that piece across from the 60, so X is 20 root 3. and y is the hypotenuse, which is 2 times L, which is going to give us 40. All right, the next one, we have 90, we have 60, which means we know this has to be 30. Across from 30 is L. Across from 60 is L root 3. And across from 90 is 2L. Now that we've labeled our pattern, we look to see what we were given. We were given that L root 3 is 7 root 3. So when I look at this right here, again, you can solve or you can just look at this. L root 3 is equal to 7 root 3. I divide by root 3. Those root 3's cancel, giving me L is 7. So remember, if you don't start with L, the first step is finding what L is. L is 7. Well, this side is L, so that side is 7. This is 2 times L, so 2 times 7 is 14. So our x was the hypotenuse, which was 2 times L, so x is 14. The y was that missing leg, which is L, which is going to be 7. All right, so our special rights patterns are just going to come down to labeling your pattern and solving for each of your missing pieces. The first step is the most crucial, is knowing how to properly label the S root 2 and the L root 3 and 2L. All right, that is it.